Hello collectors and welcome to my review of the SH Figuarts Lucario. Lucario is the first Pokemon to be released in the SH Figuarts line after the D-Arts line was combined with the Figuarts line. Many collectors are wondering if the quality of this guy would be stepped up from the normal D-Arts, so let's take a look and see whether or not he's worth adding into your collection. Right off the bat, Lucario looks great. Sure, it's a simple design, and it's relatively hard to screw up. But even when not comparing him to the D-Arts Pokemon, the details on this figure are great. From all sides, this figure just looks good. And there's little to no paint slop of any kind on mine. The giant spikes on his hands look absolutely phenomenal, and they don't have that somewhat chalky paint that some of the D-Arts Pokemon had. All of the paint on the torso area, just right around here, looks fantastic too. There's no slop of any kind. I love it. Looking at him from underneath, the pink of the pads, very uniform, and there's no paint slop here at all. No complaints from me. And all the black, gray paint apps found on Lucario, they're also nice and crisp too. All in all, if you're looking for a Lucario that looks fantastic, the Figuarts, it's got you covered. Looking at the promotional pictures, I couldn't help but think Lucario would have serious balancing issues and maybe his articulation would be a bit gimped. Boy, was I wrong, and I'm happy about that. Starting with the head area, Lucario's head is attached to his neck on a ball joint, and the neck is actually attached to the body on a hinge, so it moves forward and back. And the aura sensors, the other set of ears, whatever you would prefer to call them, these things here, they are attached to his head on a ball joint. Both of them are, so you can move them around. Do be careful though. The ball joints are just as small as the extra vines that came with Venusaur. And even in the instructions it says, be careful, at least I assume that's what they say, because they may snap, and considering how small they are, can't help but agree. Be careful. So, moving down to the arm articulation for Lucario. At the shoulders, they're attached to the body on a ball joint, and the actual shoulder itself is on a hinge. So you can get it to move up and down. And coupled with the ball joint inside of the body for the shoulder, you can get nice swiveling motion out of there too. Speaking of swivels, right here at the bicep, at the connection to the shoulder, the arm swivels around. The elbows are typical Figuarts hinge that you would expect at the elbow, and also the forearm is attached to the elbow joint in such a way that it can actually swivel too. That's pretty cool. And then the hands, paws, whatever you would technically call it, are on a hinge, so you get a little bit of movement. This one doesn't move too much for me, but the other one moves a lot more. The main body of Lucario has two different joints. You have the upper split here, which is a ball joint, which is pretty awesome. And you have the split down here, which is also on a ball joint. So needless to say, Lucario's body, highly articulated. Going down to Lucario's legs, basically the hip joint, it's similar to a Figuarts, the normal Figuarts, a human one, because there is a hinge which allows you to pull the leg up and down at the thigh, and the thighs are connected to the hips on a ball joint. So you have plenty of room there. The lower portion of the legs are attached to the thigh on a ball joint, allowing free movement there, swiveling too. And then you have similar joints that you would see for the elbows for the knee area here. For the ankle, you have the typical swivel joint that you would find for a standard Figuart ankle, and you can get the rocking motion out of it. You can see I'm sort of brutalizing it here. And then the toe area, the paw area, whatever you would prefer to call it, is on a hinge joint too. So needless to say, Lucario has a lot of articulation. There's one more spot that needs to be covered. So Lucario's tail is on the same sort of joint that's used for the shoulder. Swivels around. Basically, it's like a ball joint, but it's not actually a ball joint. You can get a lot of movement out of this solid piece of plastic attached right here at the base. So, as you can clearly see, Lucario is definitely articulated. If you can think of a pose you want to put it in, chances are you're going to be able to do it. Again, I was very pleasantly surprised with how much this bad boy can move. When it comes to action figures, on occasion, you get figures which have amazing detailing on them, but they lack in articulation. Or maybe they have good detailing and great articulation, but they lack in the accessory department. Well, so far on Lucario, we have fantastic detailing along with amazing articulation. So that means that the accessories kind of got gimped for this release, right? Not everything can be perfect. Nope. Lucario comes with everything he would need. So to begin, for display purposes, you get this base, which is shaped like a Pokeball with the black detailing. To let you know it's a Pokeball. Pretty cool. And in terms of support arms, you get 2 small ones. To help Lucario stand, you get this Stage Act 4 claw. Using the claw to support Lucario, it's pretty easy. See, there's this little hole in the back of the claw that all you do is you stick into the stand, like so. Angle it just the way you want to, and then you put Lucario in it. And bada boom. I was using this for the introduction of the video to get Lucario in that jumping pose. Lucario also comes with 2 swappable eye parts, one with his eyes looking off to the side, and one with them closed. So to begin with the head, when you have the neutral eyes in, what you have to first do is remove these parts here. Be very gentle. Slowly work them out. Next up, you have to remove the back of the head part here.
Slowly work it out. And after a while, it will eventually pop out.
Like so. And then you have the eye part. Then you take the new one, line up the holes, slide it in, take the back of the head, push it in, and then reattach these parts here with the very small ball joints that they even warn you about might break. And there you go. Swapped out eye parts. Last but most certainly not least, his effect part, the Aura Sphere. Looks pretty good. I like it. It works. Very sharp, hard plastic. Make sure you're not forcing anything when it comes to this, because chances are you may end up breaking something. But using it, it's very easy to do. Once you have your Lucario all ready to pose to use the Aura Sphere part, all you have to do is find the hole in the middle ball here and attach the support arm to it, like so. And then put it in the base. And you have Lucario firing the Aura Sphere. So, in terms of accessories, Lucario is damn near flawless. The only thing I would say is that swapping out the eyes is a lot more difficult than it should be, and those things on the back of his head, the aura sensors, whatever you want to call them, I just hope that people don't break them. But aside from that complaint, I love Lucario. Maybe a different head for a facial expression, or maybe an open mouth, but aside from that, magnifique. So exactly how big is Lucario? Well, for starters, here he is alongside some of his Smash Brothers, and next to some of the Pokemon D-Arts. So, as you can see, if you're going for video game scale, Lucario is just a bit too big. But he's a nice size for a figure. If you have a Nintendo display and you want to work Lucario in, chances are you're going to be able to do it. So, buy Lucario now, skip him, or wait for a sale. Lucario looks great. The detailing is true to that of the SH Figuarts line, and it blows the previous Pokemon D-Arts out of the water in terms of paint. The articulation is top-notch, and any pose you want or need, he can probably pull off if you put forth a little bit of effort. Accessories, he's got them. Only thing to complain about in that department would be additional stuff, which really isn't needed for Lucario. Yeah, he's not in-game scale with the Pokemon D-Arts figures, but if he was, he'd be way too small. My highest recommendation, if you're a fan of Lucario, or you just want another Pokemon, you will not be disappointed.